Coming up on Citrus TV News, the U.S. government will temporarily reopen after President Trump and lawmakers reach a deal. How long will it stay open? Our Gabrielle Caracciolo has the answer.
And a top Trump campaign associate arrested in Florida. The charges against Roger Stone.
And new details on the bus crash that killed a Syracuse University senior. Citrus TV News live at 6 starts right now.
Now, Citrus TV News live at 6 starts with breaking news.
And we start tonight with some sad news. A Syracuse University student was pronounced dead last night after a car accident in New Jersey. Good evening, I'm Elijah Shama.
And I'm Jack Watson. An email from Dean of Students Robert Radsky says 21-year-old high school student Brianna Herrera was the victim of the crash. Herrera was also a member of the Sigma Delta Tau sorority. Today, the Pan-Hellenic Council is canceling all recruitment events in response to the student's death. Citrus TV reporter Chris Venzon is live outside Hendricks Chapel. Chris, how did this happen and what's being done about it?
Jack, what we know is that Brianna Herrera was traveling to her home in Ozone Park, Queens, when she was involved with a bus accident. Police pronounced her dead on the scene. They released very few details about exactly what happened, but they did say that 3 others were taken to the Morristown Medical Center. Now, Herrera was a member of Sigma Delta Tau sorority at SU. They're hosting a candlelight vigil in her honor tonight at 7 o'clock behind me in Hendricks Chapel.
All right, and Chris, we've heard that Pan-Hellenic recruitment is being affected by the student's death. Now, what's the latest on the weekend's changes?
Jack, Pan-Hellenic has thus far canceled the rest of their recruitment. They've postponed it for an entire day, but that's subject to change. It may resume just depending on how things unfold. But as of right now, I spoke to a member of Delta Gamma. They said that all things have been shut down for this Friday, expecting to resume on Saturday with bid day finalizing on Monday.
Terrible, terrible news. And remember, if you or a loved one needs to talk to someone, contact the SU Counseling Center at the number below or visit their offices Monday through Friday.
All right now moving to Washington as the government shutdown is coming to an end, at least for now. There is a deal to reopen the government for 3 weeks while talks on border security continue. Citrus TV reporter Gabrielle Caracciolo is here with the latest. Gabrielle?
Thanks, guys. And that's right. President Trump and Democrats finally reached a deal to pass a continuing resolution that will temporarily fund the government. The president and other leading members of both parties spoke out about the agreement today. The longest shutdown in government history is drawing to a close today, 35 days after it started. President Trump announced an agreement was reached earlier this afternoon.
I will sign a bill to open our government for 3 weeks until February 15th.
The temporary agreement does not include funding to build a wall along the southern border, but President Trump spent most of his speech emphasizing the importance of a wall. Border security is sure to remain at the forefront of the negotiations to reach a permanent solution.
If we don't get a fair deal from Congress, the government will either shut down on February 15th again, or I will use the powers afforded to me under the laws and the Constitution of the United States to address this emergency.
Friday morning, the Federal Aviation Administration delayed flights to New York and Florida airports due to a shortage of air traffic controllers. The air traffic controllers were expected to attend work without pay, and many took to calling in sick.
I'm glad that the dedicated men and women of the Coast Guard, law enforcement, the TSA, and all the other federal employees will not have to go longer without pay for their work.
In his address, the president said all government employees who work during the shutdown will be compensated.
I will make sure that all employees receive their back pay very quickly.
New York Senator Chuck Schumer says he hopes everyone has learned a lesson from this shutdown.
I genuinely hope that this process can produce something that is good for the country and acceptable to both sides.
And as for all that back and forth between the president and Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi over if and when the State of the Union would take place, Pelosi says that once the government is officially reopened, she looks forward to discussing a mutually agreeable date for the president to deliver the State of the Union.
And now, new details on how the government shutdown affected students. CitrusTV reporter Landon Wexler is at the Maxwell School of Citizenship to give us more. Landon?
Thanks, Elijah. Well, for some, it may be a little too late now that the government's being set to be back up and running, but maybe too little too late, and people may have already changed their minds. The Maxwell School of Citizenship and Public Affairs is home to many students who are faced with a very difficult decision: to continue their pursuit of government work in wake of the 35-day government shutdown, or not. About 800,000 federal employees have been working unpaid for 2 pay periods, and Maxwell Dean David Van Slyke, who works with these students daily, says some are contemplating work in other sectors.
They are concerned about the longer those great federal employees are out of work, will they look other places?
Nina Carlson is a public affairs student, and she definitely is considering looking to those other places for employment.
Even if I'm doing something meaningful, if that can all stop at the drop of a hat because of one of our leaders, I don't want to be involved in that.
Van Slyke says the shutdown has many losing trust in their representatives, leading to many further believing government work can be a bit thankless.
Constituents are becoming very concerned and losing confidence. Not just losing confidence in government, but losing confidence in their elected officials.
For those same reasons, Maxwell student Ryan Mullins says he's only become more motivated to work in that public sector.
It kind of makes me think about who should be in government and what we can do about putting the right people in government.
Mullins and many others that Van Slyke has been hearing from have said they're not deterred from those jobs at all.
So I think there's a lot of opportunity, and I hope students will take the long view that we need them in public service, whatever level of government or other kinds of engagement that happens to be.
SU organizers of the Martin Luther King celebration are making last-minute touches to the 34th commemoration. The event is on Sunday at 5, and students can still pick up tickets at the Carrier Dome box office. Local news anchors Jackie Robinson and Jennifer Sanders will be emceeing the event with special guest comedian Trevor Noah. Noah is expected to discuss the life and legacy of Dr. King and the global impact of the civil rights movement.
After this event, I really hope that everyone leaves with a reminder of knowing and feeling like that the person who might be next to you and the person who is hundreds of miles away from you, we're all linked and we're all connected and everyone's life matters.
And new details from the Syracuse Common Council. Starting next week, a local company will clear snow from 40 miles of city sidewalks. The Common Council approved a contract with JSK Snow Services just this morning. Only one councilor voted against it. JSK will start clearing snow from busy city streets on February 1st. However, Syracuse residents are still responsible for clearing the snow in front of their own homes. This afternoon, in response to the government shutdown, the Rescue Mission Alliance began giving free meals. Rescue Mission CEO Dan Seberg says that even though some families might be apprehensive to ask for help, quote, no one should go without a meal. The shutdown, which ended today, caused several 100,000 federal workers across the country to lose their pay temporarily. The Rescue Mission is also looking for volunteers to get the meals out to those in need.
And Governor Andrew Cuomo sent nearly 40,000 water bottles to citizens of Washington County, New York, following a water main break yesterday. The break was repaired late last night, and state and local officials are urging residents to continue to use bottled drinking water until the tap water is deemed safe. And air traffic swelled this morning, with major delays in the Northeast due to a shortage of air traffic control workers because of the shutdown. Flights out of LaGuardia Airport in New York City were delayed up to an hour and a half. Now, these delays caused a ripple effect all throughout the Northeast, including flights here to Hancock International Airport in Syracuse. And now sunny for about half the day today, the latter half, but of course this morning lots of snow. Hopefully that doesn't continue.
It was a cold and windy one, and I really hope it changes soon. But Carmela is here to tell us if that's the case or if I'm going to want to wear the hood on my jacket a little bit longer.
That's right, guys. Tonight we're not expecting a bunch of snow. Right now we're currently resting at 19 degrees, partly cloudy skies, so no snow right now, but it feels like -6, so don't let those descending rays as the sun sets fool you. Moving into tonight, we're going to hit a low of around, looking at our photo of the day sent in by Taylor Lang, you can see some of those rays headed around Krause College, or aka Hogwarts. Thank you so much, Taylor, for your submission, but the sun today was just a bit too much for some. As you can see, one of our anchors here, Zachary Lang, was clearly a bit blinded by the sun. Moving into tonight, we can see we're going to have a low of around 11 degrees tonight, partly cloudy skies, and 10 to 15 mile per hour winds. So you'll be able to see the moon, but if you're walking outside, you definitely might get blown away. So bundle up in typical Syracuse fashion. Tomorrow, we're going to hit a high of We're going to be in the teens throughout the day, partly cloudy skies, but it will feel like the single digits. So make sure if you're outside, you're bundled up, but you will have the opportunity to catch some vitamin D. That's all I have for you guys right now, but make sure you stick around for my full five-day weather forecast after the break. Back to you guys.
And coming up, a shakeup in the legal defense team for Harvey Weinstein. What changed for the former movie producer accused of sexual assault? After the break.
And what the Queen of the United Kingdom has to say about her country's effort to leave the European Union. Stay tuned.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day, I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the CitrusTV Newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at CitrusTV News, your campus news leader.
Welcome back to Citrus TV News. Former Trump campaign associate Roger Stone is in custody after being arrested by the FBI in Florida.
Citrus TV reporter Brandon Ross discusses the charges against Stone and what it means regarding the Mueller probe.
According to an indictment unsealed Friday, Roger Stone has been charged over his communications with WikiLeaks. Prosecutors are indicting Stone on 7 counts. The special counsel's office says these include obstruction of justice, making false statements, and witness tampering. Stone is accused of trying to obtain stolen Democratic emails during the 2016 election in an effort to aid President Trump. The indictment suggests that President Trump's campaign knew about additional stolen emails before WikiLeaks made them public and asked Stone to look into them. However, White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders is saying the charges against Stone have nothing to do with the president or the White House itself.
This has nothing to do with the president and certainly nothing to do with the White House. This is something that has to do solely with that individual and not something that affects us here in this building.
Stone's indictment was the first in months for special counsel Robert Mueller. Stone was released this morning on $250,000 bond. Brandon Ross, Citrus TV.
A judge signed off today allowing the entire overhaul of Harvey Weinstein's legal team.
The new team consists of 4 new prominent lawyers. 2 of these lawyers previously represented one of Weinstein's most vocal accusers, Rose McGowan, in another unrelated suit.
Weinstein, a former powerful player in Hollywood, was arrested last May and charged with rape and other offenses.
And moving to Venezuela now, where U.S. diplomats are leaving the country today. Relations between the U.S. and Venezuela broke off Wednesday after President Trump backed Venezuela's opposition leader.
The U.S. is trying to push Venezuela's current president, Nicolas Maduro, from power. This comes after countries across South America recognize Venezuela's opposition leader as the true head of state.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo will brief the United Nations Security Council about Venezuela on Saturday. However, Russia says they oppose any attempt to push Maduro from power.
The World Economic Forum wrapped up today in Davos, Switzerland.
Global economic concerns fueled discussions during the annual meeting of world leaders. However, climate change took center stage during the final day of the forum.
France, the UK, and the United States stayed home this year. Ongoing domestic disputes kept each leader away from the conference.
And across the pond in the UK, Queen Elizabeth is voicing her opinion over Theresa May's Brexit deal.
In a speech delivered to the Sandringham Women's Institute yesterday, many believe the Queen subtly referenced Parliament, noting the importance of speaking well of each other and respecting different points of view.
The royal family is usually far removed from any form of political discussion in the United Kingdom.
Coming up after the break, a lawsuit against Kanye West. The accusations of one company has against the hip-hop star.
And the big change CVS is making to its advertisements on the other side of the break.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
What are you, superheroes?
Just four brothers who hate bullies and love this city. Gear up, guys.
From the Citrus TV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
Welcome back to Citrus TV News. Temperatures across the state of New York are pretty consistent. We're at 19 here in Syracuse, which isn't too shabby. But as we move into tonight, things are definitely going to drop down. We're going to have 11 degrees as our low, partly cloudy skies, and 10 to 15 mile per hour winds. But hopefully you won't have to go outside, maybe stream a movie, drink some hot chocolate, and especially because with the wind chill, temperatures are going to feel like 1 degree. We know the dorm heat is going to be cranking, so you may need to crack your window just so you don't roast inside your dorm. Tomorrow we're going to have a high of 22 degrees, but again with the wind chill, we'll feel like the teens. However, we will have partly cloudy skies, so hopefully you'll be able to get outside and catch some of those rays. Looking at our 5-day forecast, we're seeing some highs and some pretty chilly lows. On Sunday, we're going to see some snow showers. Not a lot of accumulation, though, around an inch, with a low of 6 degrees. So if you are headed to go see Trevor Noah around the Dome, there's going to be a lot of really chilly wind tunnels, so prepare for that. Monday, we're going to see some sun in the afternoon. Tuesday, we're actually going to see some rain with a high of 35 degrees and a low of 9. And Wednesday, we're going to have some snow again with a low of -3. That's all I have for you guys right now, but make sure you stick around to see what your wake up is going to look like. Back to you guys.
All right, Carmela, cold temperatures ahead. Thank you. The latest news in the music industry, hip-hop star Kanye West is currently being sued by a Japanese fabric company for over $600,000. The textile company claims they never received payment for a large order made by West for his Yeezy clothing line. West and the Japanese company have been working together since 2015.
CVS is no longer photoshopping models in their beauty ads. Untouched images online and in stores will display a special beauty mark. The store's decision to remove editing from their ads is a part of their Beauty Unaltered campaign. Major makeup brands and CVS are participating in the campaign. Some of the first unaltered beauty ads were released this morning.
Coming up, the Syracuse men's basketball team was home yesterday hosting Miami. Could the 'Cuse pull out its 7th win in 8 games? Final score and highlights from the battle with the Hurricanes. Coming up next.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day, I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
And now, your Citrus TV Sports Report.
Welcome back to News Live at 6. I'm Jonah Karp. The Syracuse men's basketball team has been rolling through conference play so far this season, starting at 4-1 in those games. Well, the ACC gauntlet continued yesterday inside the Dome against Miami, and a win would be the 3rd straight for SU. So let's head down to the Carrier Dome right now. Buddy Boeheim warming up in the first half, coming off a career-high 13 points against Pittsburgh. Lucky for him, the 3-ball is his game, and triples were raining early. First from Miami, Anthony Lawrence draining one from downtown. Elijah Hughes tying up the ball game at 3, getting in on the action, burying it from the corner. And then Zach Johnson hitting again for the Hurricanes, putting Miami back up by 3, 2017. Okay, here's the aforementioned Buddy Boeheim hitting from the corner, and he was just warming up, now hitting from the top. And how about some deja vu, a heat check for Buddy Boeheim, again from the top. Yeah, he had 12 points in this game, 2nd highest for him, again 13 against Pittsburgh. Okay, how about the defense for Syracuse? A block from Elijah Hughes, another man swat for O'Shea Brissett. The defense exceptional. Syracuse had a season high 11 blocks in this game. 5 of them coming from that guy, Pascal Chukwu. 73-53 the final score. Jim Boeheim weighing in on his center's performance following the victory.
The difference in the game is Pascal played in the second half. You know, he forgot to be there the first half, but the second half he's active. When he plays like that, we're a different team.
I mean, Pascal really picked it up in the second half. He was blocking shots, getting rebounds. He was just playing so much tougher, and that's how we need him to play.
It definitely does feel good, you know, especially when I get that block and it leads to a dunk down the end, is, you know, something that charges the team up.
Well, without question, the biggest win of the season came 11 days ago when Syracuse went down to Durham, North Carolina and upset the top-ranked Blue Devils. On February 23rd, Duke is coming to Central New York with revenge in mind. That's a date you want to circle on your calendar. But if you plan on going, hopefully you bought your tickets already. As of today, all available ticket inventory for that contest is sold out. And the Loud House is going to be rocking inside the Dome, or in the Carrier Dome. They put additional seating prior to this season, meaning attendance. The attendance record set 4 years ago at 35,400 is going to be shattered. That Duke game still a month away, but tonight the women's ice hockey team is hosting Penn State. Tonight's game is the first of 2 straight between the Orange and the Nittany Lions. The CHA foes are doing battle tonight at 7 before turning around and playing again tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Syracuse has never lost a home game to Penn State in 12 tries. And in baseball, some news out of Mets camp. New York has signed Justin Wilson to a 2-year, $10 million contract. The lefty reliever was straight up dominant against left-handed hitters last year, holding them to just a .190 batting average. The 31-year-old spent time with the Pirates, the Tigers, and the Yankees before pitching the last 2 seasons for the Cubs. Wilson's 71 appearances last year was the second most of any pitcher for Chicago. And back to basketball. In the pros, the Nets are hosting the Knicks tonight with the 2 teams trending in opposite directions. Brooklyn has won 6 of 7, including their last 5. Meanwhile, the Knicks have dropped 7 straight and 15 of their last 16 games. Since the last time they met, the Nets are 18-5, their best stretch in 13 years. The Knicks are just 2-20 since that last meeting. Game time tonight is at 7:30. Not a fun time to be a Knicks fan, guys.
All right, a showdown in New York City tonight. Now, you said that the Knicks were kind of trending downward a little bit this season. The Nets going upward.
The Nets are going upward. Lucky for them, they have a lot of pieces that they could build around for the future and 2 point guards that they could build around. Spencer Dinwiddie, just 25 years old. He's been awesome. And D'Angelo Russell getting a lot of attention in Brooklyn. He's just 22 years old. Meanwhile, the Knicks point guard, Emmanuel Mudiay, he's going to be out for the next 2 weeks, so we'll keep an eye on that.
We certainly will. Jonah Karp, our sports reporter. Now,
Thank
Carmela
you.
Boykin coming up will join us one last time for a look at your weather tomorrow morning.
We'll be right back.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average 4-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
What are you, superheroes?
Just 4 brothers who hate bullies and love this city. Gear up, guys.
Welcome back. Welcome back to CitrusTV News. If you take a look at our 5-day forecast, we're actually going to have some highs and we're going to have some really low lows. Starting on Sunday, we're going to have some snow showers with, snow showers on Sunday with a high of 31 and a low of 6. On Monday, we're going to have a mix of clouds and sun. Tuesday, we're actually going to see some precipitation with a high of 35. And Wednesday, we're also going to have snow showers with a low of -3.
All right, Carmela, so what should we be wearing over these next couple of days to make sure that we don't get frostbite?
Well, as we're in Syracuse, I would definitely wear your typical Syracuse things. Boots, hat, and gloves, right? Well, tomorrow morning, we're actually going to have, it's going to feel like 1 degree if you're up around 6 a.m. I don't know if you guys are early morning risers. And then later in the day, it'll warm up a little bit to 14, which isn't that much warmer.
Now, it was snowing a little bit this morning. Can we expect more snow throughout the next 5 days or so?
Honestly, not really. We're going to see some flurries here and there, but we're going to see really less than an inch of accumulation, but just that kind of like aesthetically pleasing snow, you know?
Yeah, but it's going to be freezing. I'm not looking forward to that, certainly.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have for Live at 6 tonight. Make sure to follow Citrus TV News on Facebook and Twitter and subscribe to us on YouTube. I'm Elijah Shama.
And I'm Jack Watson. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night, Syracuse.